So, welcome guys. Thanks for doing this with me. So we'll do some introductions in case not everyone knows who's here. So if you want to go in the order on the sheet, Bubble Man.
Well, I am the captain of the UK team, runner-up last year. I've been around in tournaments quite frequently this year, and I hope my opinion is somewhat insightful.
Yeah, Proxy?
Wait, we're introducing ourselves? Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah? Oh, yeah, I'm
Good introduction
captain.
as any.
Yeah, I am captain of the USA. Yeah, I play a lot in community tournaments. Guess that's it.
Nice. AGT.
If his mic's on.
Is his mic not on?
Oh, I just realized. Wait, did you not hear me the whole time?
No, you were muted.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm also a member of the UK team, and I've been around in community tournaments for the past few years, both playing and map pooling.
Nice. And lastly, Dada.
I'm a dude.
All right.
Been around and I've map pooled a lot, including last year's OWC. But yeah.
Nice. All right, so that's everyone. So the way we're gonna do this is just for I've told you guys already, but for the people in chat. So we're all gonna place or we're all gonna go the list of countries one by one. Cam is slightly covering Argentina, but that's okay. So Argentina's on top here, and we're all gonna just place them individually on our own tiers. And once we've all done that for each country, we will take the average of all of our placements and put that in a combined list so that it's a little bit less biased. If we have 5 valuable, in quotation, opinions. So if you guys are good to go, we also have a couple of additional sheets that my layout might not be good for, but we have a full roster list this year with people's ranks, courtesy of this one guy. Thank you very much for that. We also have some different sorting for the same things, I suppose. I didn't see this yet, but it is here. So, starting off, we'll just do this in alphabetical order, because why not, right? So going on the left, going down the left list here. So starting off with Argentina. Argentina this year, having this roster, the McCam is covering fucking great. But yeah, a lot of, I mean, not a lot of history in this roster. Like, for example, Payne's not here. And when I think of Argentina, that's like the one guy I think of.
Yeah, Payne, Serena, neither of them are here.
I've personally seen a couple of their players play. I definitely think they can qualify. That's not even a question. I would argue that they're potentially in contention for top 16 as well. So that's where I would personally place them.
I could see that. I could see them definitely getting out of qualifiers at the very least.
I think they'll definitely qualify, but I think they have a chance of top 16, but I don't think that they're particularly favored to get it.
Okay.
I wouldn't say they're in contention. Not this year.
See if I can move this.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna put them in likely to qualify. Not sure how high they're gonna get though.
I think that's been decided already, but I do think that they're at least in contention for top 16. They have experience in community tournaments. I suppose Payne is the one that's missing really, but I can see people there that I don't know have been somewhat standout. I've taken note of the names.
They're also missing Urushihara, who's pretty.
Yeah.
That's true. That's an old name as well. Okay, so most common opinions seems to be they're likely to qualify, so we'll put him there. So moving on from that, Australia, I think easily top 8, or has a chance for top 8.
Yeah,
I think everyone will agree on that, right? I think this is one of the few countries that are like.
Australia.
In contention for top 4.
You think so?
Australia. Yeah, Australia third
Run for it.
third on overall average rank, and I think 4th on top 4 average rank. So the ranks are there. The raw mechanical skills there. I could see it.
Fair enough.
Personally, I think the highest Australia will get is 5th. So I don't think that they will actually get top 4 this year, but hopefully they prove me wrong.
Yeah, I would say top 8 as well. I'm not sure if they have the depth at late stage to compete with a lot of the other teams.
I feel like I'm treating this as they could get. They're in contention for, like, they could get this on a really good day. They are capable of even top 3. They could upset a lot of teams. So,
I would agree with that, but there are so many good teams this year. It's so crazy. Like you'd look at their performance last year, and I believe they finished 9th to 12th.
yeah,
That was definitely an underperformance. I think some people would agree. Like they definitely deserve to have a higher placing than that.
They had
Absolutely.
the talent. They have the raw talent.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm going to put them in S.
And I think everyone else will also agree they're higher or better than last year. I should say, not higher. I think there are at least four better teams than Australia, though. So I think for me it's top 8. But
Azure W. I've never even heard of this channel,
hold
Azure
on.
Frost.
I have to
:D.
I have to fix this, or else this alert will forever play. It's a weird OBS bug where you have
the life of the streamer.
if you have fun fact, if you have alerts, right, so like stream alerts, and you don't have them on your current layer, it will continuously play over and over and over again. So that's why I had to do that. Anyway, moving on. So Austria this year going with not too many familiar names, but we at least have Fedora Goose, Elskar Tepi, Tomadoy, I would say, are the most recognizable names for most people. I've personally seen good stuff from Ita and Kizan as well. I'm really not familiar with these two guys, however. I've never seen them in play.
I've been following
Don't know their
Fidi for
names.
a while. I think he's actually probably like top 3 in the team. He's actually like really, really good.
Who?
Oh yeah.
Fidi.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Like even just yesterday, I watched him like one miss amazing break with Hard Rock, and he's just really good all around. So I'm excited to see what he does this year. I definitely think they have a strong core.
I think they're a team that like 99% of the time they qualify, but they're like at most in contention for top 16. I don't think they're actually in top 8 territory, in my opinion.
I would put them in contention for top 16.
I've not seen any performance. I've not seen Fedora Goose play this in all year.
That's
Like,
true.
He's turned into a gym lad. He spends most of his time lifting, you know. So I don't know how well he'll adjust to the game again. Looking at the average rank, they're the 15th with 779, and I don't think. Hold on, let me find them.
What I really like so far, that's not exactly related to what you're saying, but is that I think almost all of us have different tier lists already. I love that. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, I do like that. I could see them getting top 16, but I can't see them going top 8.
Yeah, that's how I also feel.
I agree.
Okay. So moving on, Belgium. Belgium is quite interesting because their roster last year, I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago, was a very good roster considering their like average rank, but they were actually below the top 32 like threshold in order to get into OWC, so they didn't even get to play. So the qualifiers this year allows for this type of team to show up, and I think even though by rank is really nothing noteworthy, but a lot of these are very experienced tournament players. So even though you would think, wow, this team isn't even a top 32 team by rank or whatever, they're a lot better than that.
Yeah, last year they were literally the bottom seed. They were 32nd out of 32 teams for the average rank. So like, I think they're a good team. Honori, 5 Joshi, F Blade, all like really experienced tourney players. Ryzen really showing
Ryzen
up
as well.
So like, I think they have a solid core that can definitely contend for top 16, but I wouldn't push them. I wouldn't push them a little bit farther than that. I don't think.
I think I'd put them at likely to qualify probably.
I agree with that. I would say they definitely have a chance for top 16, but out of all the teams that do, they're probably on the lower side of that.
Yeah.
I could see them winning the losers bracket match. I could see them getting top 24, but I don't think that they're going to get top 16. It would surprise me if they did.
I would agree with that.
I think with
They're
a
a
good
good team.
bracket, they could do it.
It is possible, but it's not possible enough for me to warrant putting them above.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Brazil. So Brazil should be quite interesting. Brazil always, for me personally, my own opinion of them is that they are always very underrated. And I want to believe that they're like super good. And like on paper, you look at their roster, you look at their performances in tournaments this year, especially my Angelsum, and they're like, wow, these guys are really fucking good. But when they actually get to play the tournaments, the results aren't really there. So it's kind of confusing about where I would personally place them. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, you can like throw a dart at a dartboard and just have like the result really show up for Brazil. Like it's really a toss up between S and A for me. I think I'll put them in S tier because just it's like their raw skill is there, and I think they have a really solid core for just in general just playing through until like finals pool, and they have like the skill for it, but I don't think they're up there with like the best of the best.
Yeah, I personally believe like they have super underrated players that have done very well, or like at least decent in a lot of community tournaments. So I think they have a real shot at top 8, but I don't think they're going to go higher than that.
I fully agree with that.
For me, if there was an A+, they would be A+.
Yeah.
If there's in contention
they're
for top
high
6,
A.
that's Brazil.
Yeah.
Okay, so almost everyone has A on them. So moving on to Canada. A little biased on this one. How do I do this? Wait. Canada.
Yeah, don't worry. You can put them in SS. We won't.
Yeah, we know.
We won't mind.
You already know.
Yes, this is a Canadian stream, so be careful what you say about my boys, you know? Alright, the thing that kind of sucks
Triple
about
S.
this stream layout. Wait, hold on. I need to fuck with this sheet a little bit. One
Alright.
sec. I need to be able to scroll it so that it's
Canada placed really similarly in
you
seeding
go.
with between top 8 and top 4 seeding. Like they're 18th on top 4 rank, whereas they're 19th on average rank, which is interesting.
Yeah, well,
That's quite low.
Probably
considering
due to
where I expect
Neuro.
them to get.
It's probably due to Neuro, yeah, but
yeah.
Yeah.
that doesn't really cancel out the top 4 seeding being about the same.
I don't think
Slightly
seeding
higher.
matters
It
in a
doesn't,
tournament
but
like
it's
this.
like
I'm a little biased on this one.
oh yeah,
I would normally say we're easily in contention for top 4 because last year we were 2 maps away from being top 4. So it's very reasonable for me to think so. And I also think that our roster this year is a significant upgrade over the previous year's roster. So I would say logically it's fair to assume that I think we can get top 4.
yeah.
The problem that comes with it though is I'm not 100%. I'm like 100% kind of like Brazil, 100% sure we can get top 6. But there are additional teams this year, like Poland, for example. Poland basically wasn't playing this last year because they fucking went out in groups, right? You can make a couple of cases for other countries as well, but like now they're present and they're even better, right? So there are. You could say we only got that far because Poland wasn't there, right? Like that's an argument I could hear, but you know I have to be hopeful for my own team. So you know I'm gonna put them in the S.
I think it's exactly the same situation where you said like if there's an A+ tier, you put Canada in there as well.
Personally, I think the
Yeah.
upgraded rosters of Korea, Poland coming back, etc. I think because of that, I don't think Canada will get top 4. But otherwise, I would put them there. But I just think the upgraded rosters this year make it so they're gonna get top 8.
I can see Canada top 6 at the very most, but since it says contention for top 4, yeah, A+, but not S.
Sounds about right.
I would agree with that.
Okay, so moving on to Chile. If I can get it on stream. Again, Chile. I don't know. I only know Dani Desu personally, so
They have a massive curse when it comes to group stages because they haven't made it out of group stages since OWC2.
Jesus.
Yeah.
They didn't enter 3 and they didn't enter 2015, and they've always been a mid or high seed in the tournament.
Yeah,
Like
they've always been like overseeded.
they had Matthew, they had Danny, they had Chris in 2018, and still didn't make it out of groups. Which is it a curse or is it some falling? I'm not sure. I could see them top 24, but if that continues, I'm not gonna hold out much hope for them to get top 16. But I could be surprised.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, I was gonna look at my pick'ems to see if I put them as qualifying or not, but the site's down, so.
Oh, mine.
Well, Pickham's closed 23 minutes ago. So
Yeah, we had really good timing on scheduling this.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they closed exactly when we started.
yeah, we're not giving any
The trade secrets away.
insider knowledge.
But I've seen a few of their players like around in solo having decent
Yeah.
scores, but apart from Danny Desso, I don't think I've actually seen any of them in a tournament this year. So I'm not really sure how they're gonna perform.
Yeah, I think a lot of the lower countries are big question marks. Just based on not really seeing them being that active. Stuff like New Zealand. I mean, I didn't know New Zealand had like enough good players to qualify for OWC.
I
Personally?
remember watching the New Zealand roster. I can't remember which year it was. I think it was the last year they competed, 2016. They upset a few people, I'm pretty sure. They upset France, didn't they? Which was the first year.
I'm not
Or
sure.
France nearly didn't make it out of groups because of Finland. I think they only got out of groups because they beat Finland in a disconnection issue, timeout, lockdown, big argument, kerfuffle thing.
Sounds about right, because both France and Finland made it out of groups on that
Yeah,
one.
and they got really close to not if they'd have lost against Finland. And New Zealand would have made it out of groups in that year.
Okay, so moving on because we're not on New Zealand yet, and we're kind of in a time constraint. So moving
Okay.
on to China. Again, a couple of people you would like to see in this roster that aren't there, but still a very experienced roster. I think no
Top
one will
12,
question that.
Not top 16.
Yeah?
Oh, not top 8, top 12, I think.
For me, it's
I
like
think
borderline AB.
they can make a run for top 8. I'm being like
I couldn't
generally
see them getting
optimistic.
it though.
They have
when
like a
you
lot
say-
of players that play hard maps like really regularly, so
Mhm.
I think that they could definitely pull out some surprises in like the later stages if they get there.
I feel like their top 12 match is gonna go 7-5 or something.
One
It's-
thing
it's
I
gonna be-
Yeah.
they're
One thing
gonna
I want to
get
mention
close,
about
but-
China is having seen a lot of World Cups for like all of the different modes. They have a lot of connection issues. I think a lot of you have been
Yeah.
victims of that or have been involved in that when you play against them, specifically at Proxy.
Okay.
It's happened to USA a lot of times. So again, I'm using an example from. I'm gonna use a recent example from the 4K World Cup that just concluded, where they have one player that's arguably like the best player in the world or one of the best players in the world, and he couldn't play a couple of the matches because of internet issues, right? So I don't know if that's gonna happen in the OWC World Cup, but there's potential, you know. So it's kind of scary.
I think they're like super borderline top 8, but
Yeah.
I don't think they're quite there.
Okay.
The roster definitely has gotten better.
Yeah, especially from last year.
All right, so moving on to Czech Republic. I'm also not super familiar with it all. I maybe know like 2 people on this roster, so I don't really know what to say about them.
No Electro Void because he's a nuts aim player, and I know Bloodbursting because he posts on Reddit.
That's the 2
all
people
I
I
know
know.
Their roster is really balanced, which makes me think that they're going to have a lot of options in the earlier stages. But because they don't really have the later game, they're like 26th on top 4, whereas they're what 10th? No, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14th. That's it on full roster. So they're very very even, but they don't have a peak. You know.
I think they're at least likely to qualify. I don't know. I don't know
would agree.
if
Yeah.
there's more than that. Top 24 probably.
I'd agree. I could see that.
Okay. Anything else to add? Nope.
Really?
All right. So moving on to sorry.
Yeah,
Yep.
not really.
Okay. All right. So moving on to Denmark. Denmark, was it last year that we saw them beat Poland in groups? It was Denmark, right?
We saw them go off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really go off.
But that was Romania. Oh, they both.
They both Romania and
Denmark.
and Denmark. Yeah.
Denmark advanced as top seed, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's worth noting, thanks chat, they didn't just beat them, it was 5-1, right? So it was pretty dominant, and this roster
It was
is
convincing.
about the same as it was last year. So all that to say, on an easier pool at the very least, they're very capable.
No Serki.
They're missing
That's true.
Talavera and
Yeah.
Serki.
They're missing both of their like
Those were like key
two of their
players.
4 core
That's true.
players. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
Hmm.
still think that they can definitely qualify.
I don't know. They definitely qualify.
Yeah,
I think they might
no
be in
question.
contention for top 16.
I could see them top 16, but I don't think I could see them going further this year though.
Yeah.
Sounds about
I
right.
think their roster's gotten worse.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with
Their
that.
their rosters, dropped.
Yeah.
Mm,
Ooh,
what is it?
which one's top 16?
Okay, top 16, right? That's the
Top
average.
16, Yep.
Mm.
TC, okay. All right, moving on to Finland. Bit of a similar story to Chile, I believe, where I haven't really had. One thing we found out because we made that sheet is Finland swaps through a shit ton of players every year. I think they have the second most unique players in OWC history, if I'm not wrong.
One thing.
First or
quick thing
second?
to note is that
Second.
the Sheets team's actually wrong because
Oh, it is?
one of the players got restricted. Yeah, Insera, so he's being replaced with Waki.
I've already changed that.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Not here, though.
Oh, not on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
But
mostly
I changed
sorting.
it on the master sheet.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, Wiki's good. I think that's a
I think,
a slight improvement because
Yeah,
he has
I would
the
agree,
he has the
but-
experience.
The reason he wasn't on the team in the first place is because apparently he's not on his own setup and he hasn't been playing recently. But yeah, he's definitely quite good. And they've got Freezed as well, who's been really showing up recently.
Mm.
He pulled off an upset.
They've got Santeri back as well, and Dragon Mob has been popping off.
Yeah,
He always seems to pop off. He's always been really underrated as an aim hard rock player.
he's quite
I guess-
consistent, definitely with the combo.
Even with that though, I could only see them getting top 24, not top 16.
Yeah, they're certainly not a bad team, but I think there's a lot of other teams that are better.
I think they probably qualify, but not much else.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so moving on to France. France should be kind of an interesting one, seeing as the past 2 years, not just last year, the past 2
Nearly-
years, they
nearly
failed to get
3.
out of groups. Even
Was
though
nearly
they're top seed, arguably, right? They have extremely good and storied players, but failed to get out of groups twice. So I don't know what's up with that. I think to me, what that indicates is that their early game just sucks, which is a
Yeah.
bit worrying for a qualifiers pool. So I think they're not going to have any issues qualifying, but they're going to get a shitty seed probably, right? So they might have to face like a really good team early on, then just drop to losers instantly.
There's also the fact that the round of 32 pool is going to be easier than the qualifiers pool, so they might struggle there.
Musty's good, Ryzen's good, Nira's good, Fair-S is going to be a good player for the lower rounds, and I know that Poon has come back from mouse over to tablet because he played tablet on the finals of the French tournament. So
Yeah.
if he does that again, and if he plays seriously again, I can see them doing okay. But I don't think they're going to get past top 12 even.
I think what's going to happen to them is they're going to do shitty in qualifiers. They're going to face off against a good team early on, but stomp all of losers all the way to top 8 or top 6 or top 12 maybe, right? So
I think they're going to be under pressure.
I can see them getting top 8.
Same.
Like,
Yeah.
they're at least in contention for it.
I think it's like
I-
super low, but they could.
I think they're going to crumble under pressure
I
because they've
also
got that
think that,
pressure of having to prove that they're not a groups team. And that's where I think they're going to falter.
okay, moving on to Germany, I think this one should be clear for everyone. I think there's very little conversation to have here. Definitely a team that can compete for first, in my opinion.
Enough said.
Yes.
That's, yep, simple enough.
I had the.
Praxia had something to say.
I actually disagree.
Yeah.
I think I don't know, man. I don't know. I personally think that Germany can get second, but like them, I don't think they can beat UK or US. So, or even maybe Korea. Like maybe they can beat Korea, but I don't know. Honestly, I don't think they can get first. In my opinion,
I had the
think it's gonna
pleasure
come
of
down to the day.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of commentating the grand finals of their second circle qualifiers for a WC tournament, and of course Dustis, Imagak, and I think it was Okinamo took themselves out of that tournament and didn't play. Even so, Hallow versus Nally was one of the highest level tournament matches I've watched in a long time. They both really wanted to win that, and I feel like they're going to really want to win OWC, and they're going to put the same amount of effort in that they did for that tournament.
I think
Stuff like
sorry,
stuff like
finish your point.
55 UR on Hard Rock on the World Revolving.
I think to defend Proxy a little bit, I definitely placed them as SS. I think the ambiguity of like these two categories or whatever, like contention for first or contention for top 4. I agree. I would place them second personally, but I see a world where they get first, right? It's a possibility. It's a low chance, but it's a possibility.
Put them in SS.
I don't think they're a top 4 team. I don't see them being 4th place or maybe 3rd place. I don't see them. For me, in my eyes, they're guaranteed top 3, right? Which means they're in contention for first. So
Yeah.
okay.
100%.
So moving on to Hong Kong. This one, Hong Kong will really benefit from the change from groups to qualifiers, as I think everyone should know by now. They're pretty much all D rankers, arguably, right? Really not all D rankers, but they have never, maybe not never, but in the last 3 years or so, they have not had an accurate seed. So now the qualifiers.
One of my favorite parts of OWC was always seeing Hong Kong just stomp the teams.
Yeah.
They just get the group stage. Like, I don't know, man. I like this roster. I think it's a definite improvement over last year's, and if their players are firing on all cylinders, I think they can maybe make a run for top 8. I think they kind of fall off at that spot.
I'm not really sure about the late stage. Like they have a couple good players like for late stage, like Denny and Neza and Hello Tom Low, but as a whole team, I think they might start struggling when the harder pools get there. They're like borderline A.
Where did they place last year?
I think that's exactly where I would place them. I place them top 8, and then once they get to finals pool, they fall apart.
I don't think they're going to get top 8. I think they're going to get top 12, but they're going to fall. 2017, 2018, they were 9th to 12th both times. And they had very similar teams. It is, but there are other teams with
I think
better
they have a
rosters
chance.
that have got better rosters this year as well. So they have a chance of getting top 8, but that chance is too slim for me to put them in A tier. I feel like.
I think they're gonna die on semis, in my opinion, but could be wrong.
They're kind of in between there. I think we have a pretty split opinion, but it looks like they're going to be A tier because most of us agree on A tier. So moving on to Hungary. Again, a roster that doesn't have a lot of history, either because they just kind of go in groups and stay there. I don't know. I don't think Hungary's. No, I think they made it out of groups like once or twice.
They've had a team 3 times.
4 times?
And they've had a team. Is it 4 or is it 3? It's 3 times. I mustn't have finished that one. I mustn't have changed the results on that screen. But they made it out of groups once, and that was OWC2.
Yeah, it's been a while.
They have
And it
a
was
lot
2017.
Of, like, experience
And this is
tourney
their thing.
players, though.
They do.
I think they can likely get a decent score in qualifiers and probably are like a 50-50 chance of making it out. But after
I'll
that,
change
there's
that
not
now.
much you can really do there.
I think they will qualify, but that's it, right? So just top 32, because there's a lot of teams that are gonna be like that. You know, someone's gonna be 25th to 32nd, I guess, this tournament. I think Hungary fits there.
can't see them getting a qualification. I'm afraid.
I agree.
I mean, I
Not
wouldn't be
really.
surprised if they did, but I don't think they're very likely to.
Okay, moving on to Indonesia. Indonesia has quite a bit of an interesting roster, in my opinion, because on paper, they have a lot of really good players. They have a lot of really good players. I don't know what their top 4 rank seed is.
The
Can you give me that real
top
quick?
4 ranked seed is 8th, actually. They would make top 8.
Wow. Yeah, they have 4 2-digit players.
And it
And
was
the-
it was the same case last year. Last year by rank, they were top seed. I believe they were top seed. They're just by rank alone, they were top seed.
Yeah,
But they didn't really do much with it.
they didn't make it out of groups. They got a tough group.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think we were in the group with them actually, with Germany.
Let's have a
So
look. Indonesia.
I feel like most of their team has gotten quite a lot of tourney experience this year as well, though.
yeah, notably Skydiver. I think everyone will agree that he's gonna smurf.
Yeah, I was discussing this earlier in chat, but I think they have 4th player syndrome, where they have a really solid core of
I like that term.
Skydiver, SMH, and then like either
It is a good
Void
term.
or Reza. But I think they have like that 4th player syndrome where they don't really have that solid 4th player unless they're very specifically on the maps that they like, so they can get beaten quite easily on like those maps. I
Yeah,
would
I could-
definitely put them at like top 16, but top 8 is like
Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel like
it would be really tough for them to get top
Yeah.
8, in my opinion.
definitely 16 though. I think.
Are we all? Is that the first country we all agree on?
I think so.
I believe it is.
Yeah.
Let's go. Collective mind. We need it. One country.
Finally, finally.
My bad. My bad.
moving on to Israel. Only a 7-player roster, I believe, if this sheet is correct, which is quite interesting. I believe it is the only one. No, sorry, Turkey. Turkey and Vietnam also have 7 roster. I think the elephant in the room is that they don't have silver because he's map pooling.
Yeah.
And if they want to have one player in particular, it will be silver.
I've seen Mr. Potato on the Israel rankings for a while, and he's been slowly decaying. He used to be ranked 100, a solid
Yeah.
player, but I think he's
he's
just
really good. Hyde is also pretty solid, but I don't think that the other players are any like they're not experienced in tourneys. I think
Yeah.
mostly.
It's a fair point.
I think they
Okay.
I don't think they're gonna
qualify.
make the qualification.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
another
I don't think so.
another full agreement there. Cool. Moving on
Yeah,
to
if Silver's word is like any trustworthy, they are not really caring about OWC that much, because that's the reason why Silver didn't really try to play OWC and instead map hold. So yeah, commitment issues as well, maybe.
That's fair enough. Okay, so moving on to Italy. Italy, I believe, also did not leave groups last year. Could be wrong. They do have very notable players though, namely Koba and his insane accuracy, which could be really beneficial for them in qualifiers. Personally,
It's very true. They also have Spaza.
Yeah.
That's pretty
very
Correct.
fast.
They played in the last 3 OWCs together, so I feel like they'll have a good dynamic going on. It's a relatively new team this year, though. They're the only two with more than 2 years of experience under their belts. I see Coretto come back as well.
Yeah, he's played for
Yeah,
quite a while.
He's an oldie.
I think Italy might be one of the yet another team that has 4th player syndrome. I'm coining that term now. It's really
Yeah.
good. Thank you. Where they have a couple of very notable players, and you watch them play, and you're like, wow, these guys are really good. But when it comes to fielding 4 players on all these different skill sets present in OWC, maybe not.
I think
Yeah.
that if Koba goes beast mode, they can maybe go top 16.
Yeah,
Depends. It's a lot on his shoulders.
I don't think I can see them placing above top 24, maybe. I feel like they're going to win a match, but no more than that. Whether they win the match in upper bracket or lower bracket is to be seen, I suppose.
Damn it, I'm the only one who put them in B.
I
wanted to.
I
but
think, yeah, I think there's a case to make to put them in top 16
yeah.
for sure. Okay, moving on to Japan. Japan also definitely a top 8 contender. I think everyone's gonna agree with that.
I don't
I
agree
think
with-
people are gonna have very different opinions on Japan because last year they did very good. Last year they did get top 6 and from winners bracket of all things, right? So I don't know. It's a bit of a toss up between them, right? Like or for this country rather. I think there's a lot of players that we're not super familiar with. 2, 3, 4 new additions. No, Dictopia. You played last year, right?
Yeah. No, he didn't play.
Dictopia didn't play
Nope.
last year.
You didn't play last year, so they have 4
Last
new
year,
additions.
returning players: Delis, Vento, Ablu, and Varvalion. The others-
Sorry, who's Delis? I only know Shiroha, my mommy.
Good point. That's true.
Anyway, yeah, but at least I'm personally very familiar with Katata, and he's very good. He's not very well represented by his rank. I think he will bring a lot on the table for Japan.
Yeah, funnily enough, he actually only got in because 2 of the Japanese players got screened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I still think that doesn't do him justice. He's a good player. I still think
Yeah,
that.
I know. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think that if you had an A- tier, they would go there.
Yeah.
Like, I think they're definitely top 16, top 8,
They're
probably, maybe, perhaps.
they're 9th on all team and they're 7th on top 4 for ranking.
I'd put them top 8 for an additional reason being when you look at this sheet and you look at the teams that are in the B tier, I think Japan pretty much beats all of them.
Yeah. So far, yeah.
So
And,
I would agree with the A- thing for sure.
The roster, I just feel it's like significantly weaker compared to last year. Like
I would agree with that.
they lack I don't know,
They are missing
a bunch of the
They lack
niche stuff
Kome.
they had last year, like Kome. So
Okay, so moving on into Latvia. Latvia is another roster personally I'm not very familiar with. I know Wayward, and that's about it.
Way better than friends.
Emula has been playing a lot of OWCs from what I remember, but I don't know. I don't really remember anything noteworthy that any Latvian players have done since they're old people.
14?
Yeah, 4C notably for sure. VMX, I believe. Who else? Yeah, VMX. Jesus Christ as well was pretty good. I don't know anything about these
Latvia.
new players, so it's a little hard to have any
Quite
expectations for them.
Would be lower than Thailand, despite being in far more World Cups than them. If they didn't have these 6 new players, even so, I don't think I could see them qualifying. Sadly.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, pretty straightforward. So Malaysia now, where are they? Malaysia again is one of the rosters I don't know what's to go. I know Rumia, but it's because it's not for playing.
Yeah.
That's about it.
I know Rampax is a pretty good player, but
He
I think
is.
on my pick'ems as well, I also put that they wouldn't qualify.
There's no Claw Viper. There's no Tequila Wolf. There's no Wuhua.
Yeah, Wuhua's mouth
Yeah.
broke. Apparently.
Serious Business.
There's no Shane
left
Liang
him-
as well.
He stopped playing in 2015. Serious Business and gone. That was the power couple.
Yeah,
But
so
then
they historically
they-
they had really good players, but I think their
Mm.
current roster is just unproven, so it's kind of reasonable to not have expectations for them, I would say.
Yeah.
We could all just be wrong and they're all really good, but literally all of them I think just have no experience.
I would
Underrated,
love to
but
see
not
that.
underrated enough to make it.
Fair enough. Okay, so Mexico, we're now at the halfway point. Where's Mexico?
Never made it out of groups, despite one year being high seeded. Can't remember which year that was though.
What was their group last year? Didn't they have a really hard group last year? Or they were like the 3rd seed, so they just didn't get through?
I can't remember, but
Weren't they
I mean,
Spain group or something?
I'm not. I'm not expecting much from these guys. It's
Me neither, but I think they qualify.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
actually
think they
put
will-
qualify.
yeah.
I think they have a decent enough core.
they have. Yeah,
I think they're a 50-50 call on qualifying or not.
yeah, that's how I feel as well.
Like, I saw Flameshock and Azura in 4WC, and I think them together with Riot and Hebel, I think they're definitely good enough to at least qualify. But I don't really expect them to get further than that.
I can't expect them to qualify, unfortunately.
Okay, moving on to Netherlands. Also, I think a country that will benefit from qualifiers with their seeding.
We got Mexico on the combined sheet.
Oh, thank you. That would be C tier. Cool. All right, so Netherlands, yeah.
Yep.
Again, Netherlands. We've named a couple of countries like that, but pretty underrated in terms of seeding typically. Just a roster. I would say if there's one word I would use to describe them is potential. Like they have the potential to be so good, but will it happen? You don't know, right? It depends on like how they show up on that particular day.
I think they could have been even better this year. Apparently, Amnesia just
Yeah.
forgot to sign up.
Oh, Christ.
Great.
Everyone,
Oh my
there's
God.
always one.
That's an
There's
always
always-
moment.
Oh man.
That happened to the entire UK team in 2015.
I think they were just in contention for top 16, and
Yeah,
what's beyond that is
Yeah.
unknown.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
All right, cool.
I definitely agree with that.
So New Zealand now, I think, yeah, kind of like Malaysia. Don't know anyone here. I know
I
Short
think-
Potato and Yellowy because they're old players. That's about it.
I could see them qualifying at the very least, but no more.
I can see them qualifying, but I don't think it's likely to.
Mm.
Apparently, Yellowy was like off of like a
Thanks, no.
1 year break, and he top scored their qualifiers. I don't know how
Mm.
much that means, but
Yeah, that's true. I think I'm gonna drop them down actually then. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I think they definitely can qualify, but there are better teams to put as likely to qualify,
Mm.
I think. Okay, so moving on to Norway. Norway also, I believe, almost the seven of their players are returning, and the only new player is Fjell. Excuse my
He's actually
accent.
really good.
He, as from what I'm hearing, yes, definitely.
I think in terms of what this roster could have been, it's basically almost the best it could have been.
Mm.
They don't have Honda
Zebu-
if he's not
Zebu
really playing
hasn't been
anymore.
playing. Warwick makes a return, hovering mouse player.
hovering
Zebu
mouse
is,
player.
Does he have a live play?
Yeah.
I need to see that.
Okay.
Zebu hasn't played all year, from what I hear. Afro and Kevzi have both been hovering around the top of the second page of the rankings, but again, I haven't heard much out of them either.
Yeah, Afro's been
Shoot.
farming a lot, but I haven't seen him in any tournaments this year.
It's a roster I haven't heard much of, so I can't.
I think
I
what ends up
can't-
happening with Norway every year is that you look at their players and you're like, okay, what have these guys done recently? And then they play OWC and they like perform really
Yeah,
really
they
good.
pop.
Like
Pop off, yeah.
Jian and Shu don't really play many tournaments, but every time they play at OWC, like they show up.
Yeah,
he doesn't really
Yeah.
play
consistent
much
player.
at all.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, and of course,
This is his
I think
ninth year.
Yolkspy is
Yeah.
like slowly becoming one of the best players in the game, right? So slowly but surely.
It's true.
You're
You're not wrong.
So I think a lot of potential for this roster as well. I think easily top 8 contention for me.
I think they're
Mm.
in contention for top 16. I think that a lot of rosters this year have the upper edge on them based
I
on
can't
like skill progression.
see them top 8.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay, moving on to Philippines. Again, not familiar with these guys.
The only time they haven't made a World Cup for seeding purposes is last year, but they've made it out of groups, I think, once, which was 2014 from memory. No, it was OWC3 2012, and since they just haven't been able to make it out of groups. So they could qualify, they could always not qualify. I think they're closer to not qualifying than qualifying this year.
Have to agree on that.
Okay, moving on to go on.
AJT, I think you put the Philippines flag on the wrong sheet.
Wait, what? Oh, I put it in yours.
Damn, trying to rig the results
Nice.
there. So moving on, quite a big one again. Poland didn't get out of groups last year, unfortunately, but now there's no groups, so you know who knows? Who knows what they can do on like a finals pool, right? I think a really interesting question to have this year is whether or not Poland can actually be top 2 or top 3. I think everyone will say that they can, but we don't really like. We don't know.
I can't see them winning.
We don't know. Like a lot of people are asking, are they better than the UK, for example? Nobody fucking knows because they didn't really get to play this year, right? Or last year rather. So it's a big toss-up. I think they will not get first. I think confidently I can say they will not get first, but easily top 4.
I think they might get first just because a lot of their players are on the rise. Like, rarely before OWC you see Wolf on the rise, but he's been popping off in Game Osu. You have Bartek, who's been on the rise for the last year. You have Mark Marucha. You have players like Demo also. So, like, they have a lot of promising players that might just propel the team forward, but it's a tough one.
I don't think
they might make first.
I don't think I can see them making first. Just mainly based off their work ethic. They blend well as a really good. They're a really good team. They're a cohesive unit, but I can't see them really. Not putting in the effort, but I mean, they're not going to put in the effort. Is what I think. It's going to be very difficult to make them focus.
The fact that the pools start much harder this year is good for them also, but I still don't know. Like at the final late stage, grand finals pool, I still don't think they're going to stack up to a team like USA.
I don't even think they could beat Germany. In all honesty, I know Wolf's been on the rise, but if you compare the two teams, you can see like Wolf versus Dustus, who wins that, and Boom versus Okinamo, who wins that. Rafis versus let me find their roster actually. Oh, they're right next to each other. They've Poland's first.
Windows.
Yeah, it's true.
Right, so it's Poland. Yeah, so Poland is
I think
first by average top 8 seed, right? Not top 4. Top 4 they would be 5th place. But yeah, so I mean that's got to be worth something. Anyway, moving on because unless you want to quickly wrap up your point.
Yeah, I just want to say I think Poland has magic ever since 2017, so putting them in SS. That's it.
Fair enough. All right, so moving on to Portugal. Again, one of the rosters we don't usually see, and by extension of that, you know, we haven't seen anything from them. So
I can see them qualifying, but not top 16.
Yes.
Yeah, same.
Basically the same.
I can't remember whether I actually voted for them to qualify, but
yeah, I can't remember either.
I definitely.
I don't think I have.
I did.
I don't quite.
I think
remember.
I voted for them to qualify.
Okay, so moving on to Romania, also quite an interesting roster. A lot of potential. A hell of a lot of potential.
I feel like they're a top 8 contender.
I definitely think they have a really good chance at it.
4th player syndrome.
That is true. I think it depends on the map, though. I don't know. I think it's weird because they don't really have a huge like history. Like I don't think they've ever been good. Like last year, I wouldn't say they were good. They were like okay, right? They weren't bad at all. They did beat Poland, right? But it's like I wouldn't call them like a top 4 team. This year, I don't know about that. You look at this roster and like how some of these players have like been playing in community tournaments and how, namely Badu, obviously, right? But like Rohulk doesn't. Rohulk is still really good as well. Eternum is still really good.
Yeah, Eternum actually beat Badu in winners finals of the Romanian 1v1 tournament.
Yeah, and Rohulk's, I think he's been simmering away in the background. He's been playing a lot less seriously, as well as Kamusiala. I'm surprised to see his name on the list. It's a good roster. They've got the people that are going to carry them through the early stages, and they've got the people that can carry them in late stages as well, through like solo FCs and stuff.
I could
see that happening.
Yeah, apart from reading maps, I think they can put together a decent 4 on basically every map.
If people care.
My main questions are on Kamusiala and Eternum, especially because Eternum, last OWC, he had some problems, especially with staff actually. And Kamusiala didn't play last year's OWC famously because he like didn't want to.
Yeah,
and this year he's kind of like been casually just playing. So
he did take a long break earlier this year, but I think
right in the middle of a tournament I needed him for.
Yeah, but he came back shortly before tryouts, and I think he actually did quite well. I remember looking at the MP link.
Okay. moving on to Russia.
Unpopular opinion. I think they can win it all.
Oh,
Russia.
That I think that
What?
is that unpopular?
Elaborate.
Okay,
Go
Donna.
on.
Yeah.
Elaborate.
I mean, like, they have
Citations and
Elementary
sources.
they have Elementary, who's only been getting better and better. They have Okinotori, who's basically just like Digital Hypno, but a little bit worse. They have Tala, who like has been playing OWC ever since like 2014, 2013 maybe. Red Pixel, who's famously like one of the best tourney players. And with their new addition of Gasha, the community idol himself, like, how can you possibly think this team gets like any lower than top 8? And I think that on
For
a
sure.
good day they can probably just like maybe make top 3, top 2, and maybe even top 1. I don't know.
I think everyone at the very least places them top 4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At
I
the
want that.
very least.
Yeah.
It
I
might.
definitely think they might not, but yeah.
Like on paper, their roster's like basically perfect, but
I
they
was
tend
going
have
to
a bit
talk
of
about that.
performance issues.
Yeah.
It's exactly what I was gonna say. Every year, maybe not every year, like the last 3 years or whatever, I look at the Russian roster and I'm like, wow, these guys are really good. And sometimes they show it in the matches, but like they're kind of like Germany, where like you look at the roster and you're like, can they win? Maybe they can win, but then they get to the finals pool or whatever and they don't. So I want to believe that they can get first place contention. I would love to see that. I think they're very good roster. But like historically, it just hasn't really happened. So I don't know. It's kind of like in between, you know.
I
They
am
have
open
high
to
skill
surprises.
caps. Yeah, definitely. They have high
Because-
skill caps, but I can see Red Pixel, Alumetri, and who else for late stage? It just kind of falls off there, really. They're all really high class players in their own right, but I don't think they have the late game consistency to actually clinch top 1 from
Yep.
someone like USA
Yeah,
or
that's true.
Germany.
To sum it up from Day in the chat, on paper it's S, in reality it's A. Simple
Yep.
enough.
That's pretty true.
That's how Russia is, and I would love to be proven wrong.
Definitely.
But yeah, anyway, moving on to Singapore, also a pretty country with a lot of old players, a lot of players that we don't really know too much of. Historically,
Singapore.
haven't done too well, but I think they have a decent potential to do well
only
compared
time they made it out
to
of
their
groups was
historical results,
2017.
anyways. Yeah, but right? Yeah, you look at the results and you're like, okay, they're not
Yeah.
good, but I look at the roster and they are pretty good. I don't know.
I mean, they
I
qualify
believe.
for sure, right?
Yeah,
I believe
for
in-
sure,
I
yeah,
believe
for
in-
sure.
I believe in top 16.
Yeah,
I think so too.
Same.
Oh
I
wow.
believe it.
Are we all
I
top
believe in
16?
Yep, all top 16.
Wow.
GS Blank has
Nice.
been playing for 6 years. He's one of the more experienced players in the World Cups. I
think so.
believe. I believe.
I think Sober Noodles might be more known by his old name, which was Elegant Lowly.
Oh
But
yeah.
he's also a really good player. He took
Very good
a
at
break
no mod.
last year. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna start speedrunning it a little bit because we want to be
Okay.
done in around 20 minutes for Proc City Go Plays qualifiers. So moving
Good luck,
on
by the
to moving on to Slovakia again, roster that I don't know too many people for. I know maybe 2 or 3 of them. The rest are completely unproven.
Action, Hranoka, Pimix, and Tikef.
Tikef is really, really good.
Yes.
I could see them
I think
qualifying.
they definitely qualify,
Mm-hmm.
like pretty much 100% in my book. More so
Yeah.
than some of the other teams we've put in there. As for top 16, it's a pipe dream, but I don't think they make it.
They'd be 31st on top 4 rank, and I think they have the raw skill to qualify. Definitely.
All right.
Yeah, I would be extremely surprised if they didn't.
Okay, so we're all in agreement on that. So moving on to South Korea, I think this one might be a little spicy. I think from my own personal experience of asking about OWC to various people that either are good fans of it, watch it all the time, and people that play in it, people have very different opinions of South Korea. So I'm curious to know what you guys think.
I started looking for the South Korea tab, but it's labeled under Korea. And that really threw me off then.
Okay.
I think their roster's actually like extremely good.
That is a scary, scary roster on paper.
Yeah.
I actually
And-
think they can win this year. In my
They could.
opinion.
They are all like really proven in tournament as well. Like even though Firebat hasn't been playing tourneys recently, we've seen what he can do. I think it's only Ponytail that doesn't have that much experience, but even so, I saw how he did in the tryouts. He actually did really well as well. So
they could really make a shot at the top. They could.
Do you guys have Korea
they're
in your qualifying top 8?
Yes,
You do?
definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, they have DDM, they have Karina, and they have Gomo for the lower stages, and then the +1 for the accuracy. And that's not to say the other 5 players aren't good. I'm just speculating what it's going to be based on lower star difficulty and accuracy.
I have a
Late
feeling that
stages?
Ponytail is going to be really good in late stage.
Wait, what? I thought Ponytail got screened.
He got unscreened. Basically,
Yeah.
they thought his brother was his account.
Okay.
But basically, in late stages, I think they rely a lot on Firebat and Ponytail, and Firebat has commitment issues.
Aristia,
What about Aristia?
Flying Tuner.
No,
Aristia Flying
Tuner?
they do rely on Aristia and Flying Tuner.
Zazen.
but Those are basically like just rock. They're solid.
Yeah.
Like,
I think
for Firebat and Ponytail's inexperienced, and Firebat has some issues.
I think kind of to continue that point, some of their players definitely have commitment issues, and I think everyone knows Aristia has some holes, you know, like his accuracy maybe.
Yeah.
And I think
high speed. Yeah.
I think early on that can kind of affect their team a lot, right? So I see them potentially losing early on. I think like Korea's like a mid-game team, you know, like the early stages, not the best, really not the best. Potential to have a lot of disasters happen. Very late stages, not the best. Like they rely on too many individual players. I don't think they have a full 4 on like enough maps, you know. So I don't think they're contention for first, but I see them 4th potentially. So moving on, I think.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. All right. So Spain, is it on screen? No, it's
Spain are
not.
going to qualify.
You think they're qualifying?
They qualify.
Spain are
and
going to qualify.
That's it.
Yep.
I think
I agree.
they'll take. I think they'll take points in the bracket, but I don't think they're going to take much more. They have Reckons, Byoshi, Betwin. They have players that can get points, but I don't think they have players that can win a match.
I see them like top 24.
Amu famously rank 4999.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I was actually wondering when the
I do
sheet
like
came
that.
out. I was wondering if we had the lowest ranked player in OWC because Nero was like 4.2k. No, we don't. This guy
No, you
exists.
don't.
Okay,
And even then, it'd be Belgium with Jody.
I believe so. Yeah. Okay, so Spain likely to qualify. Moving on to Sweden.
Yeah.
Sweden also did not get out of groups the last couple of years. On paper they look good, but yeah, they don't get out of groups the last couple of years. So it's
They
kind
have
of
a really good. They have a really good roster for qualifiers. That's as much as I can say about them. I think they maybe just maybe make it to top 16, but
yeah. I think that if there's
They're
like a
borderline.
I think if there's one country that like has the potential to like fuck with their expectations, I definitely see them getting top 16, even though we might not expect them to.
I'm finding it really hard not to put them in top 16 because they've got Reedcat, Nitros, they've got
Sonic.
Coach Blue, Sonics, Cook,
obviously,
Right?
Fozy.
They have a lot of really good players that can show up, but historically they haven't. So I don't know. But I think they're definitely better than the last couple of
They
years.
should get it.
C plus. All right, so
Yeah,
we have.
I think
put
they're,
them B.
I think they're direct
BBB.
contention for top 16. I feel like it's on the unlikely side, but they have the opportunity to get it. And I feel like if anything, their team is going to chase it because they've had historically the most players in OWC at 54, but there's 4 new players this time, which I think is the lowest since 2014, and it's never been that low since before or since.
All right,
So-
moving on to Switzerland. Oops, I'm something.
How does Switzerland have like 7 players for OWC? I've never heard even like a single one.
Yeah,
I can't say I could see them qualifying.
Yeah.
this is a short one. Okay.
Yeah.
Another similar to now for Taiwan, pretty similarly to Korea. In my own experience, I think a lot of people have very different opinions on this. A lot of people would place them top 6, maybe even top 4.
They're
I don't
really
agree.
good early on.
Yeah, I
think
could see
they
him top
can
8.
beat a lot of. They can upset a lot of people early on, but I think they fall off like basically a big cliff as soon as they get to semifinals.
Yep.
I don't think I'd put it like that because they've got Sheena, they've got Blask, Ryzer, Shield, GFMRT, Zane.
I
There's some
think
really
it's yet another
high-tier
country
names,
that
and Rook is
on
back.
on paper they're really good in community tournaments. They're really good in OWC. Not really. I don't know what's happening, but like I want to place them high, but like they haven't really done well.
GFMRT has been popping off in solo this year.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
problem is that like Sheen and Orko hasn't been playing that well. I don't, at least in my like point of view, he hasn't been playing that well in community tournaments. Flask is kind of like a little bit more casual this year than others, and same with Riser or Rizzer. I think that they can definitely make top 8, and I think
Yeah.
they're, like 75% sure to make it. But
I would say top 6 even is a possibility, but no, I don't think they get top 4. They're A tier.
All right. Moving on. Again, probably a very quick one. Turkey. Only know a couple of players.
one of their players is named Black Person.
Yes, that's gonna be real fun
Yeah.
to commentate. I can't wait.
Not a fan. Not a fan. They do have notable players though. I was pleasantly surprised by their like placement because they would be low seed. They have average rank of all 4 players of 1014, so they're 23rd.
I think they're a decent shot to qualify, like more than 50% likely. Like Heyroni's a solid player, Egeman solid player, Raikoho.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna qualify, but I can't see them getting top 24.
Okay. So you put them in C. Yeah. Okay.
Mm.
All right. UK.
All right,
Again,
UK.
I think unanimous
no,
decision
hold on.
here.
There we go.
Oh,
Had to fix it real quick. Yeah, I think
I
unanimous
will
decision for
just fall
in
for
contention for first, right? I think
Nope.
no, not in contention for first.
Dada?
Especially with their new players in the roster, like they had a lot of losses from last year.
You don't like
Like, you
Majora?
look at the UK. Nonce.
Oh my god.
Yikes.
Okay.
You look at last year, and they've swapped out 4 players, and like even though Bulman is still there, Bulman's like famously the best tourney player basically in OWC, pretty much history. But Carthy, Carthy isn't famous for being necessarily a good tourney player. Spare is good but has commitment issues. Moe is specialized, and like the new additions haven't proven themselves yet. Like Blue is a solid player in theory, but we haven't seen him in that stage yet. Voss, we haven't seen him in a decently long time, I think. And Majoran, now age 18, like I know that they're solid tourney players, but we haven't seen them yet. I don't know.
I could make a case, and I'll tell you that Voss and Blue were key members of my Konyo Cup team, but that's it's a valid opinion. It's fair. They haven't.
I think all the 4 new people have like, and the reason they're in is because they have like numerous amounts of community tournament experience. In my,
I think a very simple point to make from an outsider perspective is, yes, maybe some of these players are unproven, but keep in mind they beat Doomsday in order to make the team, right? That's got to mean something.
yeah,
I mean, you're not
definitely true.
wrong.
Yeah, and
Actually,
I
no.
also
By
think
my
that
own logic, I should put them in SS tier because they, on a good day, I think they could contend for top 1.
I
Yeah.
also think that we cover like both of the Jameses. After last year, we already knew they weren't going to play again, but I feel like we've covered their skill set adequately with the replacing players. I think we did suffer a bit of a loss with Ventus, but I still think that we can get there.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, moving on.
Never should have introduced him to Final Fantasy.
There's only 4 countries left, so moving on to Ukraine. Again, know a couple of players. Sadness, I think, and the other ones are kind of unproven in my eyes.
I don't think they're going to qualify, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No Isla. Sad.
I think
Yeah.
I think there's a chance that they do, but over the other countries that are
I
probably going to qualify.
Isla, I didn't realize he'd name changed from Clozic. I knew that name before, so that was an interesting tidbit that I didn't realize.
Shout out to Elaine for making good maps. Not much else.
Okay, moving on to Uruguay. I don't know.
Uruguay.
I feel like they could qualify.
Yeah, I put
Yes,
qualify.
they,
I think so too.
They, like
qualify.
90% qualify.
It's kind of weird because it's not really a roster you've ever heard of. Like, I can't tell you anyone ever talking about this country when it comes to OWC. I've never heard a single person talk about this country when it comes to OWC. But I look at this roster, it's not bad. It's actually not bad. I see them qualifying probably even top 24, I would say.
It's fair.
Yeah, I think historically they've been unable to play because of like seeding or whatever, but with the introduction of qualifiers, I definitely think that they can prove that they're better than a lot of people think they will be.
All right, moving on. Another obvious one, the USA.
They don't
That
qualify.
doesn't
Let me
need
skip
D tier.
E, F. Hold on. Can I like remove that and put it down there? Okay, good. Moving on.
Okay, yeah. So, I don't think anyone want to comment on USA. Do we need to comment on USA?
I don't think so.
All right.
Aries finally on the team, I guess.
That should have been
Yeah.
Area.
Would you say Aproxy? Would you say Aryu's one of the best players on the team this year? If
Yeah,
if
he's
not
up there.
the best,
Mid
next to
fourth.
like Vaxe.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, Idkey, Toy, definitely better, but he's like maybe 4th, 5th. He's up.
Yeah, good player. I haven't seen him in many tournaments, to be fair, but the recent ones I have seen him in, he's performed. So
Yeah, he's been stepping it up. He used to be like really bad, but he's stepped it up quite a bit
I
I think
wouldn't
PES
even.
20 was one of his highlights this year.
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, I wouldn't have even said he was bad, but just more inconsistently consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on, the last country is awkwardly at the bottom in the spreadsheet.
Yeah,
Vietnam. Only 7 players.
No.
can't see them qualifying. They have the lowest top 4 and the 5th from the bottom on overall. I just can't see it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I
Yep.
think a couple other players could probably show up, but there's not 4 people on this roster that could show up, I think.
Yeah, I
So,
agree.
and that is it. That is it.
Okay,
That is.
I'm gonna
I
go
think-
practice. If y'all want
Okay.
to talk.
Good luck.
All right. Have a go, man.
Good luck at Brexit.
Australia's combined should have 8. Did I miss that? Fuck. Did I really? Did someone change their Australia placement?
I think there's been some that have been like moved or messed around with.
Okay.
I
Wait, I have
didn't
to
change it.
offset everything now. Hold on. Well, yeah, that is.
We'll do a quick run through again and just see, I suppose.
Yeah, I'll
Funny
sit.
enough,
I'll
I
sit
think
on the
we have-
screen.
I think we have more people unlikely to qualify than there are like people that can't qualify in terms of numbers.
Yeah.
There's like 40 teams.
I think, yeah, that's 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 43 teams, so there's 33 teams that are looking likely to qualify. So, drop one, maybe. I'm not sure who from the unlikely to qualify could also be in contention. Check.
If I had to drop one, I'd drop Turkey, I think.
If I had to drop one.
Philippines, that's it.
I'll drop Portugal.
It's kind of hard to.
Mm.
I
It's
think
tough.
one of the. Oh, what happened to? Oh, Aproxy left and
I
it broke
wouldn't
the overlay.
even,
Right.
yeah,
Didn't notice.
I wouldn't have even dropped Portugal. I'd put something else up from unlikely to qualify, just since it's the bottom is just gonna mismatch. There's not gonna be a clear, these 32 teams are gonna qualify.
Right.
But
That's,
I'm not sure who else I'd put up.
It's pretty much it though. Any additional comments?
We're gonna win. Question mark?
Okay.
I
Now,
think that
of
this
course,
is
now
one of the most competitive.
Aproxy leaves and both managers. We're gonna win.
One of the most competitive OWCs in recent memory.
Yeah, I'm
definitely.
really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I mean, even looking at it, there's 6 people in contention to top 4, and then there's 9, 12, 14 in contention for top 8. If we're looking at the combined tier list, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. It's anything can happen. I can't wait.
The
Alright.
fact that I literally have no idea what's going to actually end up happening within the top 4
Yeah.
is a bit more
Mhm.
exciting.
It's gonna be very good. So again, qualifiers are starting this weekend. I believe most people will not be streaming them. There's no official stream or anything, but I think the staff
No.
was like, "Do not stream your qualifiers."
It wasn't a do not stream. It's a
Yeah.
It's a recommendation not to.
stream.
recommendation not to. Yeah.
So I don't know how many qualifier streams we're gonna see. But if not, if you guys want to catch the OC World Cup, that will be happening next weekend for the round of 32, and of course this Sunday, I believe at 18 UTC, we will know the qualifier results. So, yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited
Me
to
too.
follow it through.
This is again. I agree with what was just said. This is easily the most competitive OWC I think there's ever been. At least there's the most question marks. There's the most. It's not. I wouldn't even call them upsets. You know, there's just like for the top 8, for example. There's 14 teams that you can make a case fits in the top 8, but you know only 8 of them can. So what's gonna happen? We don't know.
I'm actually interested to see how people do in qualifiers as well, because I was talking about this with Doomy earlier, but I think a lot of teams think that they can, or know that they can basically almost four-way a lot of the maps, but I think there might be a lot of chokes in the actual real qualifiers.
Yeah.
In case people do not know about this, because I don't think anyone that's not a player in OWC reads the rules, the way the qualifiers work is everyone plays the 10 maps twice, and the best team score, not individual score, the best team score is the one that's taken. So even though that might happen, one player might choke, you know, they have another chance not to. So I think it equalizes a lot of the, like, RNG misses a little more, right? So
I still
Not
think.
even,
What do you guys think are the hardest qualifier maps
Chaos King.
from
Yeah.
Chaos King.
hardest to FC, yes. Yeah.
hardest FC? Yeah. Okay.
I
actually
think
think the
Yes.
DTs aren't that easy. Everyone's
Yeah,
saying
DTs are
that-
tough to hack as well.
Yeah.
They're not going to be
I feel the opposite completely. I
not gonna be
think
friendly.
the DTs are always the easiest maps, or at least the ones with the highest average scores, right? So like maybe like for like
I mean, that's also 'cause of
an
the
individual
multiplayer.
player, the DTs are going to be hard, but like when you look at everyone that's on
I
each
think-
teams, every team has so many good DT players that it kind of like puts the level up a
Yeah.
little bit, if you know what I mean.
I think that it's just as you said, that everyone has so many good DT players, but that's also because the people who can do it will do it. It's
Yeah.
with DTs, especially these two. One is a slightly faster stream map, one is a slightly slower with a couple of doubles in it. If you can stream the BPM that these maps are set at, the aim is no issue.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Most
it's
of the
easy to
star
be
difficulty
consistent-
comes from the
consistently
stream.
FC. Like, I think that the DTs, they have like a lot of accuracy issues, but it's hard for you to just shit miss because they're 4-star maps sped up.
There's no aim. So
There's
the
no aim
people
at
the
all.
people that can play them will play them, and they're gonna FC them every time because there's no aim. Maybe except DT1 has a couple of tricky rhythm sections, but like if you learn them, everyone's gonna FC them all the time. So it's all about how good is your accuracy on this, right? As opposed to, again, Chaos King, that is like maybe you're lucky if you get like 1 or 2 FCs, in my opinion. I think for most countries that's what it's gonna look like.
I think the hidden pool is quite intable as well.
Yeah,
especially
Yes.
I think
Mhm.
Hidden
Yeah,
1
yeah.
and Hidden 2 are very easy to shit miss. Especially Hidden 2, I think we'll see a lot of qualifier ranks.
I
Based
think
off of
especially Hidden
that.
One. I think
yeah,
people are
the
gonna
rhythm in the middle of hidden one.
Are
might
they
have-
they're gonna count the 6 beats in the bar, and then they're gonna mess up on the 7th. They're gonna
That map
not
is-
expect the 7th.
The rhythm that map is so into.
I love off rhythm, off time signature stuff like that.
Yeah.
Irregular time signature, especially like the Rust Belt 5/4 map.
Yeah.
That,
Oh yeah, I know that one.
It's not even 5/4; it's quintuplets.
Yeah,
But
1/5.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on because we're kind of getting off topic here. I believe we kind of all wrapped up everything to say. So
I
thanks
think
for
that's it.
thanks for doing this with me, guys. It was fun.
Absolute pleasure.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And see you whenever you guys play your qualifiers. When does the UK play actually?
2030 UTC tomorrow.
Oh,
Oh, I
okay.
actually thought it was 21. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, because they shifted it because there's hour-and-a-half time slots.
All right. Well,
Good luck
regardless.
to Canada as well.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll see you guys then. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you very
Goodbye.
much.
And that is it for this. Move my cam slightly. You know, fuck it. Leave my cam there. Want a good screenshot? I want a good screenshot.